Good morning, Macarthur!
In today's program, Camden spoiled, third in the world, punching gold at 52, behind Julians Island, celebrating Do Something Day in Macarthur, fighting chronic fatigue, and more.
The team from Current Public School, Macquarie Fields, has just placed third in the world at the Future Problem Solving competition in the US.
Well, we didn't really know what to expect, but it didn't really matter how far we went, it just mattered that we made a difference in our community.
They came first in the nation and third in the world with their education kit to help younger kids adjust to the school.
Our package has lots of stuff in it. It has stationary educational games, things like bingo over here. There's even like things for fine motor. So over here we have things like pegs, so you can pick up the sponges so it can help with your grip.
This is a learning goal book. If you turn to the first page, there's reading, goals, a little smiley face, and tips to use at home. So the idea behind the package is that we want the parents to be able to work with their kids and also work with us so that we can work in a partnership.
These kids are champions in every sense. Champions for education, champions for their community, and of course champions to make sure younger kids adjust to school in the easiest possible way. They are really champion ambassadors for our local community.
Current! We started by brainstorming all of our ideas. Like, we had lots of different ideas like deforestation and graffiti, but the problem that stood out to us the most was education.
We thought that education stood out the most because we're all kids and we get educated by teachers and all that.
It was a trip of a lifetime and such an exciting time to go to America.
I had heaps of fun, like when we were at Disneyland and Legoland.
What I found most interesting was just the enormous food.
The Wizard of Oz Funland celebrated Do Something Day Macarthur with a fun evening that acknowledged community goodness. Families got together to make potted gifts for the elderly at Frank Whitten Masonic Home and the Uniting Church Cottage Care.
It's always a fun time to come down here to Wizard of Oz Funland. Brian and Christian have always been well connected to the community. Today is just another great event where the mums and dads here today, the effort you're putting in to engage your children doing these wonderful things to help the elderly, congratulations, that's fantastic effort. So all the mums and dads give themselves a round of applause. Fantastic effort.
That evening, 9-year-old Tia Brennan from Tell Tia for Charity donated cycles to Uniting Church Cottage Care and other deserving families.
I'm very happy to be donating these bikes, and I hope the children like them.
There was lots of community entertainment and everyone enjoyed themselves while bringing joy to others.
8 Grange Old School boxers punched their way to success at the 15th Australian Masters Games.
The last Australian Masters I fought in the super heavyweight division and come away with the gold medal.
What is it all about the Masters and the age group that you're in?
Well, they introduced it again a couple of years ago. The Australian Masters Games had it down in Adelaide last year, and we thought, oh, well, why don't we put a team together, you know? It's from 35, well, I'm probably the oldest at 52, but about 7 of us went down. We all come back with a medal. I always boxed a little bit when I was younger, and I just decided a couple of years ago to get fit again, you know, and particularly when I found out about the Masters, which is sort of more the older age groups, and it's becoming more popular all the time.
John is now training for the World Ringside Championships in America.
See how we go there. They get 1,500 competitors from all over come for that, so it'll be a hectic few days there, but a bit of luck, we can bring home some results. We're running pretty well every day, sometimes twice a day, morning and night. A lot of aerobic, a lot of technical. You know, we start sparring a lot more now, so it gets pretty active. You know, we've got to start eating healthy and taking the weekends pretty easy and everything. We've got really good coaching there, you know, which has been good. And look, it keeps us fit. Well, you know what it's like.
Oh, right. Yeah.
With boxing, I think a lot of it's more important to be mentally prepared than physically. You know, if you're not physically prepared, you're wasting your time. So you can't be looking at that in the last few weeks. You've got to get the mind on the job and pretty much relax. I try and go in as calm as possible, actually. I go in quite relaxed. I know I'm prepared, so as much as I can be at my age. So if he's better, he'll beat me.
Unfortunately, with Muhammad Ali passing away recently, it's a big thing in the boxing world. How's that affected you?
Yeah, interesting loss for the world, that's for sure. He's hung on a long time, shows how resilient he is. But he put his mark on the place, that's for sure. His humour, his knowledge, his human rights. Let alone his skills for a heavyweight. Probably not going to see it again.
As Wings Productions' latest musical comedy, Julians Island goes on stage at the Town Hall Theatre, producer David Owens talks about the highs and lows of community theatre in Camden.
You have to be constantly doing things that the public know about. A show like this, people, you say to them, Julians Island, because that's basically what it's based on. They go, oh yeah, I know that. But it doesn't always equate to bumps on seats, which is unfortunate.
With sport such a big aspect in the community, that really pays its toll on community theatre. Weekends are our biggest time to perform. Also the biggest time for a football team to play a game.
What think we got? We ain't got days.
We actually are self-funded. We don't get anything from the council, government. So whatever we do, it's through fundraising. Whatever we can do to survive, we do it. And we've been doing it since the year 2000, so we must be doing something right.
Wherever we go, whatever we do, we're gonna go through it together.
And that's the perfect thing in the word community, where the community is accepting it and they come along and they enjoy seeing people that they know up on stage doing something different. It could be the local butcher playing a role, and they forget that person's the butcher, and they will come and see the show and they go, wow.
Apart from running Wings, David is passionate about writing. Julians Island is one of his works.
I actually write under the name of Hamish McGrath.
And he runs the annual Macarthur Playwriting Festival for all ages.
And I encourage everybody to write, because everyone's got a story in them, and it's important that you use your voice, because there are some very important issues out there that aren't getting the airtime because people are too scared to play it. And we've had some very interesting stories over the years. Last year, one of our winners was actually about a girl coming out to her parents, and it won the People's Choice Award. And that says a lot. If a show on that subject, a play on that subject, can win the People's Choice Award, that means the people want to hear it. And that's very important.
On the hand may be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend.
One of the most important things is for the public to support local theatre. Or if they don't support it, it will die. And the creativity in that area will no longer exist.
Sufferers of chronic fatigue syndrome here need never feel alone again, thanks to Felicity Fernandez's Facebook support page and her blog.
I started the Facebook page as a way to help myself and others to feel less alone in their health journey. One of the worst things with a chronic illness is the isolation that you feel. When you already have a debilitating illness, that you feel frustrated enough as it is, and then not having anyone understand it is even worse. So knowing that someone out there is going through something similar, or the same symptoms, or the same frustrations, it makes you feel less alone. At first, to be honest, I didn't know what chronic fatigue was. I'd heard of it. I was just like, okay, that sounds okay, I suppose. And then it wasn't until a few months later I started to really realise that this was actually going to impact my life bigger than I thought it was going to be. It's invisible, and I think that if you looked at me in the street you would think, she's a perfectly healthy girl, but really I'm not. I've probably got the lowest immune system known to anyone. And it is hard because it's frustrating because, I could be fine at a party and I could look great, but on the inside I'm screaming, like I need to go to bed. And it is frustrating because I want to be a normal 20-year-old. This is the prime of my life. I'm supposed to be out clubbing and I'm supposed to be out partying, but I can't, and it does suck. And even other family members are now acknowledging it, and they actually try to understand, which is really important because last year they were just like, oh, are you still sick? And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't go away, it's chronic. Grieve for your body. I think that's one of the main things that I've actually really learnt a lot from. You can be sad one day and let yourself be sad, don't think otherwise. Because you have lost something, you have lost, the rights to be able to go out and do things that other people are doing. Think before you judge. Compassion and support is what we all need. I don't want to be shut out because I have chronic illness and I'm not, socialising anymore. I want to be asked, how are you really doing? Do you need anything? Things like that.
While Camden Council are considering a $9 million redevelopment of the old milk depot site, residents strongly oppose what they see as mindlessly destroying the region's old world charm.
If this development goes through, the first thing you will see when you come into the town will be this enormous, unsympathetic, modern development. I show lots of groups around Camden in coach tours and groups, and people often, first of all, they comment on the lovely atmosphere, the heritage character of the town, and then the next thing they say is, please try and protect the heritage values of the town. I'm personally appalled by the scale of the development. I think it's an insult to the existing heritage building. The building was an integral part of Camden's dairy heritage. It was originally a weatherboard building, but in the mid-1920s it mysteriously burnt down, and but because it was so important it was immediately replaced by this current brick building. We'd all like to see a development happening on this site. It has been derelict for some years. We're concerned that an important building should be sympathetically interpreted and redeveloped in a way that reflects that history and acknowledges the importance of the site.
Sadly, the Camden Historical Society hasn't been engaged in consultative dialogue.
Certainly there's a long history of council inviting the society to join groups or committees when there's just reviews of these heritage protection matters. But in recent years, we seem to be getting things after it's all decided what's going to happen, and that the public consultation process seems to be like just going through the motions of having the 3 weeks for the public to comment on it, and then, oh, surprise, surprise, the development goes through exactly as it was proposed in the first place. It's still not too late. There's time for this development to be modified and for it to be discussed, and perhaps some mediation between the developer and the parties that have objected to this current development application.
A special shout out to the 24-hour fight against cancer Macarthur for raising $3.35 million in 11 years for Macarthur Cancer Services.
This year we raised $350,000, which is a magnificent effort and a great benchmark for us to try and strive for the following years.
What we request the money to be spent on is around care and comfort for our patients, it's around safer treatments for our patients, and it's around better education for our patients and staff.
I'm proud to say that with the Nerve Monitor and the Sentinel Node Probe, Campbelltown Public is now home to the best surgical devices for breast and endocrine patients undergoing surgery in the district.
And a definite shout out to Camden Council for its new Berrowa outdoor use space at Mount Annan. This well-designed playground is greatly appreciated by local families.
Shout, shout,
that's all we have time for today, Brian.
Well, if there's anyone out there you know who deserves a shout out,
Any stories that you know need to be told?
happenings you want covered,
Issues of community concern?
and any little ones doing great big things,
Flick us an email.
at info@thewizardofozfunland.com or call 4626 7777.
Remember, no story is too small to be told if it makes a difference to our community.
Have a great fortnight!